Hey, buddies, Potato McWhiskey here, and welcome back to Let's Play Civilization 6. I have a mod list of all the mods that I'm using somewhere, but today, so if I remember, I'll put it in the description of the video. I know a lot of people were asking about that. Today we're going to start a new game, and in light of all the crazy things that I've been hearing coming out of Iran, we're going to play Persia today, in solidarity and love with the people of Iran. So we're going to be playing on deity difficulty, Highlands. We're going to play pretty much standard settings. I am tempted by abundant resource. I'm going to leave everything really standard. I want to play Highlands because Persia, there's a really interesting build you can do with Persia on a map that has a lot of land. And typically what will happen to kind of ruin this is if you play on like not lakes or inland sea or highlands, there just isn't enough land to do the really interesting Persia build. And our goal is to quite literally build a paradise. And the strategy that I want to try to execute today, this is a strategy I've tried to pull off many different times as Persia, and I always just ran into like frustrating moments that it made it not work. But today I'm going to try to make it work again. So deity difficulty, Highlands map, everything else is standard. We're just going to go ahead and jump in. So a little bit less roguelike-y of Civ, but I think in light of the fact that, you know, I think today, as of recording, I think it's been like 7 days without internet in Iran, and like there's just insane things going on in there. And I think the people of Iran are a beautiful people who deserve to be free. That's my take, and I love them all. Anyway, right. So taking a look at our start location, we have some. There is kind of an interesting start location here. We do start on freshwater. We could move one tile northeast to get a freshwater plains hill, which would give us a 2 food, 2 production base tile in our capital. We could also move one tile northwest to settle adjacent to the silk, which would give us a crazy good start. But I do want to take a moment to kind of look at Cyrus's abilities. So in the strategy that I want to execute, we're actually not really going to do much with regards to Fall of Babylon or the Immortal. So the Fall of Babylon gives you extra movement for the first 10 turns after you declare a surprise war on a major civilization. This can actually be used for economic reasons to like move your builders around your empire more efficiently. That's kind of a neat thing that you can do there. You also get +5 loyalty per turn in cities with a garrisoned units, and declaring a surprise war only counts as a formal war. So a very aggressive ability here in conjunction with the Immortal, which is a swordsman melee class unit with a ranged attack, which is very good. It's basically an archer with a really strong defense, so it's a hard to kill archer. Is a way to think about that costs iron. So he's got like 2 military abilities and then 2 economic abilities. You've got satrapies that gives you gold and culture for internal trade routes, and the Paradisa, which gives you +1 culture and +2 gold, +1 appeal on the tile and adjacent tiles. It gives +1 culture for adjacent holy sites and theater squares, and +1 gold for adjacent commercial hubs and city centers. And it also gives you extra culture and tourism as you advance through the civics tree. So I kind of want to do a tourism-based Cyrus game. And so if we think about the Paradisa, right? Now, you technically, I don't think you can place the Paradisa here, but the Paradisa, to get the perfect Paradisa, right? Let's say you want it to be adjacent to, I'll put a default Paradisa down here. I believe they can't be built adjacent to each other, right? Yeah, you can't build them adjacent to each other. So the maximum number of Paradisas you can fit around a city center is 3, which would get you an extra 3 gold in your Paradisas. The perfect Paradisa would be adjacent to a commercial hub, a holy site, and a theater square. And so I kind of want to develop a build that optimizes for getting value on my Paradisas is kind of like what I want to do. Because in theory, you can get a 4-3 tile, and then if we look up the Paradisa the paradise in here, it gets +1 culture at diplomatic service, and it gets 100% tourism from flight. So this could be a 4 tourism tile. Now, to put that into perspective, a great work of writing produces 4 tourism once you have printing, right? When you double the tourism from great works of writing. So an optimal Paradisa, like even just a basic Paradisa, will get you some tourism. Now, the fact that it also gives appeal, and the holy site and the theater square, which you build adjacent to it anyway, also give appeal, means that we could do some like high appeal gameplay. Now, the appeal in our local area is pretty low, and we also have some floodplains here, which I dislike having to play around floodplains. It's fine. Anyway, so that's kind of like the idea behind this gameplay. And this is a build that I've always wanted to try to make work, and I never have. I'm going to step 1 tile to the left here to see what I can discover. Now, I think a big question we have to ask ourselves is, are we going for a holy site? And also, I need to double check what tiles can the Paradisa be placed on? So desert, desert, hills, grassland, grassland, hills, plains, plains, hills. So I assume it can be placed basically anywhere that I want it to be placed. Now, in a perfect world, I would love to place a holy site here. However, that is a jungle tile, which would be very difficult for us to do anything about. So instead, what if I were to move one tile northeast? What if I settled here? We would move away from the silk. I do think, you know what? I think we settled the copper here. +2 gold and getting a 2-2-1 tile is really good. And then I think we do a holy site right there. And then this naturally leads itself into pretty good Pyrodizas in the local area. I like that a lot. So I think that's the play that we're going to go with. Something like this. Yeah, it's only a +1 holy site, but we are getting extra culture, so it's fine. Okay, so let's settle on the copper. Now, settling on copper does not actually delete the copper. The copper is still there kind of underneath. And so we're getting an extra +2 gold in our capital. We're also going to make sure that we work this 2 food, 2 production tile. Working a tile costs 2 food, which means that basically this tile is paying for its food cost and then providing 2 production and a culture surplus. The extra culture is really nice because we're going to hit Code of Laws earlier, which will allow us to plug in God King earlier and get our Pantheon earlier, and that might reflect upon some of the decisions and things that we get to do. I do think scouts are incredibly powerful. We could go warrior on Persia. I don't think that a second warrior is bad on Persia. So like, we're going astrology for sure because we want to go religion this game. I think we could do like religion. I don't think religion is mandatory for tourism. There are definitely tourism plays you can do where you go for a more scientific direction. But I definitely think religion, because of faith generation, it offers a lot of interesting opportunities for religion or for tourism. So I think we're going to go astrology this game. And in an ideal world, we would find a natural wonder. So I'm wondering, I think I will go warrior this game, just to be a little bit more defensive. We have found another continent, so we do get the boost for foreign trade. And our main goal is to sort of scout in a vaguely round format to try and discover where our second, third, maybe fourth, so on cities are going to go. What does the land around us look like? Now, exploring the desert could be useful because there are often natural wonders in the desert, which would be nice to boost astrology. But boosting astrology isn't, I wouldn't consider it mandatory for going for a religion. We are going to immediately go for a settler though. And the fact that we have coffee and silk in our capital basically means we start with a monument in terms of our culture gain. So we could skip a monument for a very long time. But yeah, you can see going warrior into settler pretty much lines up perfectly with astrology research. So there's Code of Laws. Let's pop in. We're going to plug in Discipline to fight Barbs and God King to get our Pantheon. It would be nice to get a Pantheon early, especially if we can get a Pantheon that enhances our civilization. I do think foreign trade is a really good pickup in the early game. Plus we have it boosted. We're doing a little bit of exploring. We haven't found any tribal villages yet, which doesn't feel great. We have found a Barb camp. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is within 6 tiles of our capital, so in theory we will get extra era score for it. We did find Hong Kong. We were the first to find Hong Kong, so we will get +1 production in our capital and in every city with a workshop building when we're producing wonders, buildings, and districts. So that's an extra boosted production. They want us to build a campus. We're never going to do that quest this game. We have no intentions of building a campus basically ever. I could kill this scout to get one of the barb kills that is required for bronze working. It's not a terrible thing to pick up. Yeah, perfect. So that's 1 out of 3 kills. This horseman, I'm going to fortify to try and force the horseman to hit me. Across river, we'll be able to get an extra kill there as well. Oh, all right, another tribal village. Beautiful. So that's 2 barbs that we have killed. I would love to kill another. I don't think we need to go for mysticism. I do think early empire is a good pickup for the production towards settlers. Ouch. All right, we're going to retreat back across the river because this guy's being attacked a lot. Let's grab that tribal village. We got a free trader. That is actually going to be useful. Let's go ahead and heal/fortify on you, and I'll start moving this warrior up this way. It'll take him a long time to get up there, but he might be able to help out. So now that we have astrology, we need to start thinking about where our second city is going to go. There is actually what looks to be a +3 holy site right there. But remember, we're not necessarily looking for high adjacency holy sites. We're looking for holy sites that we can put Pyrodizas around. Looking at the freshwater situation and tile yield situation, let's kind of just take a look. Bananas are a great tile. You have a look at the appeal map mode. So what would be a great tile to settle on? I do see what looks like Macedonia to my north, which kind of pisses me off that I got unlucky enough to spawn near the AI. In theory, this rice tile is a good settle. It's very close to the capital, which provides defensive benefits, loyalty benefits. It has room for at least 2 strong adjacent Pyrodizas. In my opinion, mining is one of the best text in the game because it allows you to build production buildings and chop. Or production improvements, not buildings. Okay, bronze working advanced from killing barbs. We're going to take the battle cry promotion because it is just, in my opinion, the best one. I do see a diamonds over here. We could potentially settle near that. Settler completed. I'm going to make my way to the south. Let's build that holy site. Goddamn barbarian horse archer. We can two-shot those, so it's not the worst. Let's clear that camp because that's worth era score and the boost for military tradition, and we'll try to get out of there with our warrior. I think that was a worthy sacrifice. We don't want to trade with Alexandria. We would prefer to trade internally. Stupid barbs killed me, really annoying. And a barb camp appeared down here to my southeast. I'll send this warrior over here to deal with that. Let's settle on the rice. So settling on the rice is going to be useful because we're going to get a 3-1 tile. So this city will grow slightly faster than normal. That is a +3 holy site. Is the +3 worth it? It can be. It can be worth it. Let's go double holy site. Maybe we can make it work. We're going to move this trader over to Susa and send it to Pasargadae. 1 food, 1 production, 2 gold, 1 culture. We've got a very, very strong culture opening here. Just don't move left. Stupid barb camp. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to use my gold to buy another warrior to fight this. Let's see if we can't kill this scout. So now that mining is done, let's get to work on pottery because we have a lot of plantation luxuries that we would like to get online. Like, for example, we have silk here, we have coffee, we have incense. I definitely want to settle this continent to see if there's more luxuries over on that side. Oh, yes. The city-state is coming to my defense, thank goodness. Kill that scout, heal for 1 turn. Holy site completed in Pasargadae. I think it's really important that we just get a religion. Other players are already getting their religion up. Now we could spend 7 turns building a shrine. Considering how low adjacency is, well, we wouldn't get feed the... If we do this, we're definitely not getting feed the world. If we do this, there's a chance we get feed the world. When it comes to religions, is it... Let's see, so do we want choral music? Shrines and temples provide culture equal to their intrinsic faith output. This isn't bad. All world wonders, we don't care about that. Feed the world is crazy good. We don't care about Jesuit education. It's not bad. It's not great. Reliquaries we don't care too much about unless we have a way to reliably generate them, which we could in theory. We could in theory do a reliquary game. Warrior monks we don't care about. Work ethic we don't want. And Zen meditation is like, I guess we'll take it. So which one of these helps me win my game? So in terms of tourism generation, reliquaries definitely helps me win my game in terms of tourism generation. Zen meditation is just an all-arounder. Feed the world is so strong. It just gives you so much power, as is choral music. So I think feed the world or choral music, it's going to be one of those two. The thing I'm worried about is investing so hard into getting first religion and then not getting it. You know what? I'm going to go for it. It's been so long since I've done a Feed the World game that it would be really nice to get one. All right, we clear this. That's worth 3 era score. I'm going to have you heal, and I'll pull you back a tile so that you can heal as well. You're going to take the battle cry promotion once it's my turn. Excellent. You fortify for a turn. Hopefully he'll slam you. Alexander is annoyed at me. There's pottery and early empire. We are going to plug in urban planning. We have our Pantheon now. So if we're trying to do the Persian Paradise build, it definitely feels like Earth Goddess is the right play here. So Persian Paradise activate, we'll go for Earth Goddess. We have our first governor title. I do think that when you're going for religion, Moksha's not bad. But I do think that Pingala can be better. There is also something to be said for an early Magnus point because he lets you chop to catch up. Pingala is nice because of his 15% science and culture, just really helping keep you from falling behind too hard. We're gonna go for irrigation because we do want a builder when we can afford to buy one or to build one. We're gonna go craftsmanship into state workforce because we want to rush to political philosophy to upgrade our government. Early governments are very important. Okay, we finished our first holy site prayer. We are top religion. So I think the only thing that can beat us to a religion now is if somebody finishes the Stonehenge. There's another holy site prayer and +3 era score. So we got a normal age, which is nice. We're one more holy site prayer away, so we'll just do that right now. How important is it for us to get this shrine up versus getting builders for getting our amenities online? I mean, that is 3 potential amenities. So I do feel like a builder right now is like disgustingly good. I don't believe the shrine is going to help us. Yeah, okay. Make sure the city's focused on food and production. Make sure this city's focused on food and production. That makes the most amount of sense. So there's builder production and a GOG. I think somebody just got a great profit. We're on the verge. Once this finishes, lovely. We're like 3 turns away. There's not much we can do to speed it up. Now, question, do we want to do a government plaza and go for the... We have the culture to do a mass settling chop build, and we have the land to do it too. So I think I'm going to put my time and energy into a couple of early builders here. The ancient era ends in 4 turns. We're going to go for bronze working. We're going to need to be able to chop jungle. He wants to give me horses for open borders. Sounds good. I can just sell those back to him for a little money. Hilarious. He is 100% considering war with me. So we need to make sure we have choke points. Edamananki has gone. We got our religion. Oh, we get first religion. First time to get feed the world in a long time. What's like the Iranian national animal? Hold on. The Asiatic lion. So I'm going to say hungry, hungry lions. That's going to be our religion. We're going to take feed the world because I never get to play with this. I do think in terms of our victory condition, reliquaries could be argued for. You could even make an argument for Jesuit education and choral music. But I think Feed the World is just a lot of fun because of the serious amount of food it gets you. Then in terms of our capstones, I'm a huge fan of cross-cultural dialogue for the +1 science for every 4 followers of the religion, because it basically, in conjunction with Feed the World, it just gets you a lot of science. The meeting house could also be really good. Religious colonization is super handy if we're going to go for like a mass settling build, which we could do. So I think I'll go for religious colonization. And there is actually an open question of, do we want to go for the Mahabodhi temple again this game? We do have better choppability on the Mahabodhi. We're almost already there. So I'll park Magnus into Susa for now, and we'll make sure we buy this nice tile. Oracle has just gone. Let's get this incense online. The fact that shrines now give food and housing make them extremely valuable, so we will be going to the shrine. The world enters into the classical era. So we're in a normal age. Probably the thing to go for us is going to be Exodus of the Evangelists when we try to spam out settlers. Let's go for the shrine in here as well. The growth will allow us, high growth will allow you to work a lot more tiles. I'm going to improve this plantation. That's going to give us an amenity, which should begin easing up the demand for amenities in our empire. There's bronze working, so it reveals iron. I don't see any iron in our empire, but that's fine. Let's improve the silk. It's excellent. And because it's the forest, I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to chop it before I improve it. It'd be nice to reveal horses. Horses are high yield tiles. I'm going to trade with Pasargadae again. Keep the city being fed and produced. Unknown players grabbed profits. Stonehenge has been finished. So we managed to just sneak ahead. We had just such a strong start that we managed to sneak ahead of a lot of these. Okay, we don't see any horses. Now, because this tile is jungle, and jungle has negative appeal, you can see here, the appeal is bad. I chopped this tile, and the appeal has improved ever so slightly. It's a very, very slight improvement. Plus, it finishes that shrine a few turns early. In terms of the government plaza, we go for Dem Government Plaza. There's a really nice theater square right there, and a really nice one right there as well. I'm going to put the government plaza on the maze. I'll take 4 turns, and we are 8 turns away from political philosophy. Trying to think what an important thing for us right now is. Watermills are very valuable. In terms of our techs, we don't care about sailing, celestial navigation, shipbuilding, basically the top half of the tech tree. We don't need currency yet unless we're looking for air score. The wheel is probably the right one to go for here. We're going to improve the silk, which means I have a luxury to sell to the AI. So I will sell him 1 silk for 6 gold per turn. It's not a huge amount of gold, but it is something. Then we will improve the coffee, and now our cities are happy enough to where we're getting a bonus yield situation, which is perfect. I have 1 builder charge left, and I don't see any high value tiles that need to be improved. So what I might do here is just chop this tile out a little bit sooner. Although I should probably chop in Susa where Magnus is. Okay, Government Plaza finished. 5 turns until thingy. So we're gonna swap these governors in a moment. We're gonna want to build a lot of builders so we can do a lot of chopping. Could build the hanging gardens. No, just grab ourselves a bunch of builders so we can chop out some stuff. All right, we're gonna chop this tile. Do I want the granary? No. Chop there. And then we're gonna swap these 2 because we want to chop out the settler palace in the capital. Looks like he's building the wonder that goes on the hill. I can't remember the name of it. Chichen Itza? No, it's on the bottom down here. Machu Picchu. 2nd builder up. Yes, building early builders has some pretty big downsides, but now that we have political philosophy, we're definitely going to a classical republic because +1 housing and +1 amenity is really fantastic. So classical republic it is. We definitely want settler production, and then +1 production in all cities. Then I do think charismatic leader is good, and then cheaper tile purchasing actually goes a long way for us in this current game. So we don't want to chop that tile. That tile is important not to chop, but we're going to start the ancestral hall immediately. The second that Magnus is established, we'll begin the chopping process. Magnus doesn't need... I mean, provision is nice, and since we are going to be chopping out a bunch of settlers, we will take provision. Then we're going to go mysticism into drama and poetry, into theology, because we would like to get the Mahabodhi temple as well. And then you're going to begin building settlers, Susa. Probably what I'm going to do is get a scout first, because the lack of intel that I have on the map is actually a big problem. So I'm going to get my scouts now so I can send them off to do their job. Okay, so there's the wheel. We have access to water mills. We'll chop out this scout. This one I'll just basically send west, and we're also going to grab masonry because walls can be an important part of a cultural strategy. A mega colossal eruption by this volcano. We do want to keep that in mind. Also, there is a lot of potential for preserves as Persia. I'm going to hold on to this envoy because putting it into Hong Kong doesn't actually improve our situation with Hong Kong. I'll buy this tile because it's cheaper. You're getting into position to chop. Excellent. And your job is just to move to the left. Explore as far to the left as possible. We're going to chop here. That shaves 2 turns off of that. We're going to chop here. Shave another turn off of that. We're looking to chop jungle because jungle has low appeal. Because our hope is to try to improve the average appeal of our empire. And then this scout is going to go to the right. Your job is to explore to the right. So Machu Picchu has been completed. The pyramids is under construction. You move there to chop. You head around the mountain range to chop, chop, chop. We found another Krakatoa. We found Krakatoa. Pretty cool. We will chop right here. That will finish this. We'll start the settlers. It's going to take 3 turns to get those settlers out. I'm going to take a promotion in Bengala with Connoisseur for the culture per turn. Very useful to get our culture up. I am worried about the potential threat of Alexander. Chopping all these tiles does come with downsides in that we're basically unimproving our land in the short term, which will have consequences because we're chopping stuff away. Park the settler. Chop again. I do like the idea of settling here. I also like the idea of settling here because it would get us that diamonds. Settling towards Alexander is a risky business, so I'm going to send this guy to the south. All right, perfect. There's masonry. It'd be nice to get currency and mathematics and all those things, so we'll start grabbing those. I'm going to move my scout up here to protect. So we're definitely going to settle here, and then that leaves 1, 2, 3, a potential settlement either here, one of these 3 tiles. Well, if I'm settling here, then I think it's pretty natural for there to be a holy site right there. And then it's pretty natural for it to be a paradise right here. And then if we can do this kind of a setup, then it's starting to look really good. We've got 3 paradises in here already. You know, this could be a commercial hub. This could be a theater square. We've got this like beautiful paradise going. Then a paradisa here and a paradisa here. And then if we were to follow the pattern that these guys laid down, we would go here and here because this is the optimal packing ratio of how to get the most paradises in your empire, which then means this becomes like a good city center. This becomes a good commercial hub. This becomes a good holy site, and this becomes a good theater square. And then naturally this is a good paradise. This is a good paradise if we can get that tile. And we're kind of creating this beautiful paradise of land. And I like this setup a lot, but that's why Feed the World is good. That's why you want something like Feed the World if you're playing as Persia, because you're typically not going to be playing around the adjacency of the thing itself. I think being suzerain of Hong Kong is worth it, both in era score, exploration, and also the mutual defense from being their suzerain. So I will spend 2 envoys. Let's chop here to get this settler out. So where's the next one going? Well, we could continue to settle down here in the southeast where, as far as I can tell, there's no other players. What if we were to continue? Let's just assume that we're trying to get as many paradises as possible. Now there's a conundrum. That tile right there is a really good city location in my opinion. What if we... Oh no, that won't work. These overlap. I mean, this is technically worse, but it's also still fine. We can just settle there. I don't want to settle there though, if I can avoid it. So maybe we will... What if we did settle here? Let me put our holy site right there. We end up with a worse overall empire. It's better to follow the paradise pattern. You got to think of it like a crystal pattern that you're trying to follow. So like a theater square here, that's like +3 tourism. A holy site right there is decent. And then in theory, a commercial hub is like not terrible in here as well. So now we're looking at like, damn, that's a true paradise. Apadana is disgustingly good, but we're not going to go for it. We could have built it. It's disgustingly good because it gives you ridiculous amounts of envoys. There's writing, Dramic poetry, using my scouts to protect my settlers. And this is why I like playing Persia on... I like this style of Persia on this kind of map, because you can actually pull this off on this kind of map, whereas it's a lot harder to do this on maps with a lot of like coastline, because you kind of need a lot of land to build the Persian paradise. Keep trading with Pasargadae. Probably could have moved that trader. It's fine. There's Bologna. They want me to train a catapult. I have a settler in Pasargadae. Keep going. Real quick, I'm going to get myself a scout and a trader in here. Or I'll just grab myself a quick scout because I want to know more about this area over here in particular. And I need to keep my warriors in a relatively, I wouldn't say forward, but at least in like a defensible. I do love the idea of settling down there. We have to consider the paradise. Now there is another, there's sort of like two, so the thing I want to talk about, like the configurations of paradises, there's two major configurations of paradise. There's this configuration, right? Which is 3 around 1, which is basically like you take one tile and you put every single possible adjacent tile to be a paradise. Then there's the triangle. And what this is basically, instead of, you just draw straight lines between your paradises. And what this one is really good for is it's very easy to adjust this pattern like this to create national parks like so. And then if you want to get more tourism out of these, you can just go like either holy site or whatever on, you know, either side. Boom, there's more tourism plus more appeal. And so this kind of a configuration is actually really strong as Persia. But the hard thing is it can be hard to pull off if you don't have enough land. But that is something we should consider, is do we want to set up for that? We are going to have a lot of faith to convert into national parks. So like if we think about it, there is actually a potential national park right here, which might change the settling pattern a little bit. So I like that a lot in terms of getting a national park into my empire early. So I think this is going to be how we do it. Let's settle right here in Tarsus. We got the free builder. Let's get our Pyrodisa up. We have really strong culture gain. So I do think there's something to be said for going like straight watermill here on those river cities for production. Okay, we have access to theology. We're going to delay settling in here so that we can get our temple and the Mahabodhi temple up. I will send an envoy to Bologna because it is worth 1 science per turn, which is a not terrible use of my resources. I am looking forward to settling on desert. It's worth era score. We're going to harvest this to force growth into this city. Barbarians near Susa, great library has been built, Temple of Artemis, bunch of great people have been acquired. Yes, I know you lack housing. Let's settle this city. We'll go chop this tile, put some time into the watermill. It's worth 1 production per turn, which is great. I'll send this scout out this way. Let's get our Pyrodisa, perfect, +4 era score, and a beautiful tile. We are gonna work that tile if we can. So much gold, +1 era score. The lovely thing too is settling our cities converts them religiously, which is great. I think there's a city over here to the west. I don't have enough intel to really make an informed decision, however. There's Harald Sigurdsson. It's an honor to meet you. So Norway Berserker. God, I love these character models. They just look fantastic. So he's got berserkers and settlers. We are going to chop here. You definitely want more builders in Pasargadae. We're going to hold off on builders until we have feudalism, honestly. Let's get the monument in here. I've actually changed my mind. It's way more important that we get feudalism. Where's the next city going? There's not a bad paradise right there. I don't know if you can put paradises on floodplains. If you can, I would love to put one there. This right here could be a good city. Settle on the banana. Yeah, I think we'll settle the banana. All right, chop. That'll get the monument sooner. I think we just need more culture than I had previously appreciated. So we're going to chop here. That's going to be the monument in a single turn. Excellent. Let's talk to Harold. And maybe we can get mutual open borders off of him. I don't know if he wants to buy my horses. He does want to buy my horses. Okay, Jebel Barkal has been built by another player. All right, we got our monument to Hagmatana. That's culture. Let's finish the watermill. Although we should absolutely place that holy site. It's a +3 due to the forests. And just to secure, we're going to buy that tile. Continue exploring for me, little scout. You pull back. I'm going to settle the banana next turn. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this. I do want a Paradisa here, so I will park one down. We will work that tile. It's very worth it. My empire straddles the edge of the world. This is where I wish I could scroll this map left and right. All right, we're going to settle here. Boom. On a new continent. Excellent. I think it would be great if we could surround this city in Paradisas. Then this is very obviously a theater square to me. And then we put another Paradisa right there. This could be a holy site to me. And then if we really wanted to, we could put a national park here, right on the edge of that desert. It's not a completely impossible thing. All right, monument first. I do think monuments are the way. Let's make sure we're chopping that jungle because jungle has low appeal. We want to try and get our appeal up. Nice to meet you, Pound Maker. We got the temple in Pasargadae, which means it's time to build the Mahabodhi temple. So we'll buy this tile, place the Mahabodhi down. We'll gold purchase a builder. We do have a couple of forests here to the west that we can use to chop. We got the monument in Susa. I would love to get my theater squares up. I will place them to lock in its price. We're going to be hitting a housing limit soon. I do think a commercial hub to the right here as well is very good. So we'll place that one. So we've locked in some prices. We definitely need these tiles to improve, but I think just like getting some extra housing, getting some extra food and production, that will be the kind of working towards thing. Now, the only thing about this build is that it doesn't have a lot of production. You end up working a lot of land if you have Feed the World, which is kind of like a production bonus, but you don't end up building a whole lot of mines in this build. I do like those Paradisas though, like they're really good. Your gold is usually crazy. Your golden culture is insane, but your actual production isn't great, which means it's hard to get key wonders. So we know where Scythia's capital is. Let's go ahead and chat with her. I'm going to do mutual open borders, accept deal. I'm wondering, are the AIs selling any luxuries? They are. Boom. That's going to put 2 of our cities into the happy zone. I will sell this silk. Classical era ends in 4 turns. Awesome. Let's go to second Paradisa up. Ooh, I don't want anything to do with that barb camp. There's Spain. Pleasure to meet you, Spain. Classical era ends in 3 turns. We're going to settle right here. There's Reformed Church. Let's get a Paradisa up. We're going to go immediately for the monument. I need you to run away from that. I don't want you to get killed. Apologies, I will not settle near you again, Norway. So we're going to chop here. It would have been amazing if we could have finished this in time. We would have got a golden age out of it. I don't know if we can do it in time. I can levy Hong Kong's military, and then I just need 2 more. How am I going to get 2 more? See, this is where being rusty comes in, because I don't remember all the easy era score. If I had settled 1 more city, we would have done it. I don't know if I can do it. I could missionary, but he'd never make it in time. I left it too long. If I had converted Hong Kong, all I had to do was convert Hong Kong and I would have got that golden age. I'm tempted to reload, but I think I'm just going to eat my mistake, because I think sometimes making mistakes is just part of like the growth of learning as a player. I don't like that this Buddhist missionary is coming for me. We're going to take researcher on Pingala to maximize our science output. It's going to set these city-state units on auto explore. The world enters the medieval era. Ripperino, we don't get a golden age. We do get mathematics, which is nice. We can start doing diplomatic stuff. I'll take Exodus the Evangelists again because we can do some more converting, and it's probably fine for us to do this. We got the watermill in Tarsus. Let's place the holy site. Let's place the commercial hub. We'll get ourselves a granary, although we really want builders, but I'll go granary first because I'm not ready to build builders. I would like to chop these tiles, so I will slow build a builder in here. Watermill completed in here. Slow build me a builder. Excellent. Get over there to chop for the Mahabodhi. So it's a sad day. It's a sad day. It would be nice if melee units were stronger, and I guess scientific city-states. I don't know what ones are going to go through here. Culture and melee. Perfect. Chop here. That's 4 turns off the Mahabodhi. Let's talk to Spain and get mutual open borders. Yep. Slam this guy. You retreat to heal. And then I think we just go horseback riding, construction, all this sort of stuff. We have an envoy. I'll put an envoy into Mexico City. It's +1 production of the capital. We are going to chop. Well, we're going to wait to chop that tile for the +2 builder charge card. Most important card in the game for developing your empire. Almost killed the horse archer. Beautiful. And I gotta say, this is a great start to the game. Like, we gotta feed the world religion. We have a 6-city empire. We're cranking out a crazy amount of faith, gold, and culture, relatively speaking. Like, we're on par with some of the deity AI. Our science isn't great, but we are about to get Mahabodhi Temple, and that will help when we evangelize our religion. We can take things to help us with our science. Depending on what people have taken, like, okay, there's no meeting house, there's no Watts, but we can definitely take the culture for our science from population, and maybe like stupas for amenities. Those are great. I think that's a really great combo with Feed the World. Watermill completed in Susa. Time to start getting builders, because we're pre-building builders for feudalism. All right, beautiful. Coming in here, we have the granaries. Let's start building builders. We're going to buy this tile right now so that we can chop out and immediately finish the Mahabodhi Temple. That's going to give us +2 diplomatic victory points, which we don't necessarily care about, although it did end up being useful in the last game we played. But the 2 free apostles are crazy, both for era score and the fact that we don't have to spend faith to evangelize our religion, getting our final abilities. Beautiful. Mahabodhi Temple is just such a fun wonder to get when you're going for a religion game. Anyway, before we evangelize our religion, I'm going to call that the end of the episode. I want to thank you guys very much for watching. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!